Hey everyone, James Baek here, and it's time for some more VGC 2015 battles. Friend of those battle spotlighter. We'll be using the same team as the last couple of videos with Kofagrigus, Camerupt, Gastrodon, Amoonguss, Hariyama, and Escavalier. We're gonna find two battles and see how we do. Our first opponent today will be Dan from Mexico, 1673 rating, and we are going to see the team of Cresselia, Heatran, Ludicolo, Mawile, Hariyama, and Greninja. So interesting. Cresselia, Hariyama, and Mawile, and possibly Heatran indicates a Trick Room mode on this team. And it's kind of funny since I am using Trick Room, so this should be interesting. The biggest threat will be the Ludicolo. I have to get rid of Ludicolo immediately. And then basically Mega Camerupt can do really well against this team. The only problem is he can use Cresselia to reverse my Trick Room if necessary. Since my Pokemon are slower than his, the Mega Pokemon will be Mawile. Greninja is also an annoying Pokemon to deal with. For leads, Kofagrigus looks solid here. He doesn't have a good way to hit it for heavy damage except Mawile, who would lose its ability, huge power for the Mummy. So, wondering who to bring here. Hariyama and Kofagrigus seems like a great lead. However, I'm also thinking about, I'm going to have to bring Escavalier because it deals with Cresselia and checks Ludicolo really well. I actually think I'm going to lead Kofagrigus and Camerupt. Yeah, seems pretty good with Gastrodon and Escavalier in the back. It seems pretty solid to me. I was thinking of bringing Hariyama. Hariyama actually does pretty well against this team. However, I do not want to bring Hariyama because I need Escavalier for the Cresselia and the Ludicolo. Gastrodon since he has two water type Pokemon. And obviously Mega Camerupt since it's my greatest check to the Mega Mawile and his Heatran. But then again, I guess Gastrodon does pretty well against that. So maybe bring Mega Camerupt wasn't the best idea, but I feel like it's going to do a lot of damage here as I'm going to lead Camerupt and Kofagrigus versus Ludicolo and Cresselia. Very interesting. So the obvious play here is to set up the Trick Room for me, but my opponent I think also has the ability to set up Trick Room as well. So I think, actually Escavalier looks pretty nice here in this situation. So I think I'm going to Nightshade. He could go for the Fake Out onto Camerupt or just go for the immediate Scald, and I don't want any of those. I'm thinking of pulling a double switch here, actually. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch out Kofagrigus into Gastrodon and switch out Camerupt into Escavalier. The reason is I'm really assuming he's going to try to reverse my Trick Room here by going for his own Trick Room. And I'd assume to Fake Out or Scald, so I'm going to play it safe by sending out Gastrodon and Escavalier because this way, Fake Out won't do much to Escavalier, but he's going to go for the Scald, which is going to activate my Storm Drain. He actually targeted the Kofagrigus slot, as Cresselia actually goes for the Psychic onto Gastrodon. Which, to be honest, I'm fine with. Oh, but gets a special defense drop. He's probably going to target down the Gastrodon, and I really can't afford Gastrodon taking much damage. I'm surprised he went for the Psychic instead of the Trick Room, but maybe predicted me not to go for the Trick Room. I think I'm going to go for the Mega Horn onto Cresselia, because if Ludicolo... Oh, he's actually going to withdraw his Cresselia. Go into Heatran. I should have Mega Horned the Ludicolo slot. That was not the best call by me. I went too aggressive there and targeted down the... I went too aggressive and just targeted down the Heatran. Well, the Cresselia, but instead I'm paying the price because Heatran gets in for free. We reveal its leftovers Heatran. So, we revealed Heatran, Cresselia, and Ludicolo. The Mawile is probably in the back. I'm going to set up the Trick Room here and switch out into Gastrodon. Yeah, Gastrodon does pretty well here, since I scare out the Heatran. Only problem is that Ludicolo, unfortunately I was not able to get rid of Ludicolo, which is going to be a big deal for my my Gastrodon, since Ludicolo is a really big check to my team right now, and that's something I want to get rid of right away. As Heatran's going to set up the sub, great play by my opponent, realizing he could get a free substitute off here. And we see the Giga Drain into the Escavalier slot, predicting the Gastrodon switch. Great play by my opponent, but I'm actually kind of fine with that, as I get the Trick Room off for free here. Which I'm actually really okay with, to be honest. Right here, I can protect with Camera Up to bring it in, just protect, and disable the the Ludicolo next turn, because disable is actually a really fun disruptive move on Cofagrigus. It's really interesting. I'm going to go for the Nightshade into Heatran and just protect here, as I'm going to try to break that Heatran sub. We also could see protect from Heatran, but I think he'd rather just go for the straight attack with Heatran instead. Yeah, I really should have just targeted down the Ludicolo slot. There's no reason for me to target down Cresselia so early in the game, because Cresselia wasn't even an offensive threat. That's definitely a misplay on my side, and I should have thought about that, considering now I'm paying the price as I lost my Gastrodon pretty early in the game. Alright, Camera Up is going to Mega Evolve here. And let's see what my opponent went for. As I am going to protect with Camera Up, let's see if his Heatran went for protect just to keep that sub up. No, it didn't. Okay, that's actually perfect, as I get the Nightshade off onto Heatran, and if he knocks out my Cofagrigus, I'm actually fine with that. As we see the Scald into Camera slot, and we see the Earth Power into the Camera slot, so aggressively targeting the Camera Up, which is kind of interesting. If he was really that intense, I think Scald and Heat Wave would have been a better play, just because, to be honest, if he did that, if I had switched into Escavalier, it would have been a huge threat. But now I'm predicting his Heatran to protect, and his Ludicolo just to go for another Scald, as Heatran's going to protect, which is excellent, as I get the free Heat Wave off onto this Ludicolo. Heat Wave going to connect with the Ludicolo, and that's perfect, as that's going to do a lot of damage. As we reveal Assault Vest Ludicolo, which is the most common item, I'm going to disable the Scald on the Ludicolo so it can't attack, as Heatran's going to heal back more with leftovers. Which is pretty much an ideal turn, to be honest. I'm going to double attack this Ludicolo, since I really doubt Heatran wants to stay out this turn. And if it does, it can't KO Camera with an Earth Power, so I'm pretty much safe. And knocking out this Ludicolo is probably the biggest deal for me right now, because Ludicolo is like the biggest check to my my Camera Up, obviously, right now. And once I get rid of Ludicolo, I'm pretty sure Camera can sweep this team depending on who he brought in the back. Most likely Mawile, but it could be the Greninja, which I'm fearing right now. He could also switch out Ludicolo, which would be a great move, but he is going to switch out that Heatran like I predicted into Cresselia. Yep, there's the Cresselia. And that's perfect, as Heat Wave. Cresselia avoids the attack, so unfortunately that's a lot of damage I'm missing out on that Cresselia. Going to get a lot of damage on the Ludicolo, which Nightshade should actually be able to knock out, as it does pick up the knockout, so excellent. Although I kind of wish I did get the Heat Wave damage onto the Cresselia, I'm actually fine with this position still. As we're probably going to see, I'd probably assume the Heatran at this point. If he has Mawile on the back, I highly doubt he won't want to bring it out, and if he has Greninja, okay, Heatran's going to come out. Okay, so I've been playing pretty aggressive by just going for the Heat Wave. I think I'm just going to go for the safe Earth Power now, since I don't want Heatran to get any damage off onto my Camera Up, and just Nightshade this Cresselia for some nice damage. Nightshade should be a 5-hit KO, 6 probably if it's Citrus Berry. Heatran's actually just going to go for a safe Protect, but I didn't want to risk it. As I get the Earth Power into the Protect and the Nightshade, maybe the Will-O-Wisp was the better play, to be honest. But I'm fine with that, as we see the Psychic onto the Camera, which shouldn't do that much. But it does hurt quite a bit, as Heatran's going to reveal Leftovers. Well, it did reveal Leftovers, and the Twisted Dimensions actually returned to normal. That makes things difficult. I need a Trick Room up ASAP, and I need this Heatran gone. However, it depends on who he double targets. If he double targets the Cofagrigus, I'm screwed. Or he could just double target my Camera Up. My opponent's been playing pretty basic here. I think I'm going to set up the Trick Room, and I'm going to hope that Cofagrigus can live a double attack. As we're going to see the Helping Hand from the Cresselia, so I wonder if he went for the Helping Hand Heat Wave or the Earth Power. I would assume the Heat Wave, which would be bad, as we see the Heat Wave. So, great play by my opponent. Let's see if it can actually knock out, though. As it's not able to knock out, and I get the Trick Room off, which is perfect. Which is actually absolutely perfect. As Heatran's recovering, but that Cresselia is still an annoying issue. I'm going to withdraw Cofagrigus here into Escavalier just because I'm really not liking this Cresselia at all. And it would speed up the process and Earth Power to Heatran, and I don't have to worry about Trick Room going away. And if he wasn't going for Trick Room at this rate, I'm pretty much assuming he wouldn't have Trick Room. As Heatran's actually going to go for Safe Protect, that's fine by me. Let's see. As we just see the Psychic into the Cofagrigus slot. Interesting. Which I'm fine with, because Escavalier will eat that like a champ. And Heatran going to recover with some leftovers. So, this game got very interesting. I highly doubt even... Nothing on this team wants to switch out to an Earth Power. So I'm just going to Mega Horn the Cresselia and Earth Power to Heatran. I have nothing. He has to probably pray for a double protect, especially if he has Mawa in the back. He cannot risk losing Mawa right now. Then again, I think the Heatran's more important than the Mawa in this case, because Heatran actually does pretty well against all three of my Pokemon now. So he might just want to sack off Mawa, but I should be able to pick up a double KO, unless he switches on to Mawa, which would get the Intimidate off. But to be honest, I feel like I'm fine in the position, as he's not going to switch out. However, Mega Horn does miss the Cresselia, and that's unfortunate, as I'm going to miss out some big damage there, as Heatran going to faint, and we're going to see Psychic, which actually might put me into Sucker Punch range now, so really unfortunate miss there. And he gets a critical hit on top of that, which actually makes it more complicated. As you see, Mawa is my opponent's last Pokemon, which I'm fine with. Here, I would assume the Sucker Punch going into the Camerupt and the... I don't know what he wants to do with Cresselia. Probably Psychic into my Camerupt as well. So I'm just gonna protect here with Camerupt and go for the Mega Horn. If I can actually knock out the Cresselia, it actually is a possible winning game. As Mawa is going to Mega Evolve, it has no reason to stay in normal form because regular Mawa doesn't do much. Camrupt's gonna protect here. And Mawa are going to go for the protect. Interesting. Maybe it doesn't have Sucker Punch, because Sucker Punch would have been a great move to go for. I do get the Mega Horn off onto the Cresselia, which, as you can see, picks up the knockout, even through the Intimidate, unless this Mawa didn't reveal Intimidate, but I think it did. I'm going to withdraw Escavalier here into Cofagrigus, just because I have to, so I can get the Drill Run since I'm Choice Band into Mega Horn. And Earth Power this Mawa slot, which would be able to pick up the KO. If he has Sucker Punch, he definitely has to go for it now. It's his only hope. Cofagrigus is going to come here, and we do see the Sucker Punch into the Camerupt. I'm kind of confused on why he didn't go for that play earlier, but I'm not complaining, as a Camerupt going to go down, and the Twisted Dimensions return to normal, which is unfortunate, but Escavalier here does pretty well in this situation, and if he Iron Heads the Cofagrigus, that's... Actually, I don't even want to go for a Trick Room. I kind of just want to go for the Will-O-Wisp into the Mawile and Drill Run. Or do I want to Iron Head just to avoid missing? But I think I'm going to go for the Drill Run. As we see the Rock Slide from Mawile. Great play by my opponent. So it probably doesn't even have an Iron Head. Rock Slide did quite a bit to my Escavalier. Let's see. Drill Run. Gonna connect with the Mawile. This shouldn't knock it out, but it should do a nice amount. Oh, wow. A critical hit onto the Mawile will actually pick up the game. Without that critical hit, I think I might have actually lost, because I might have been in another Rock Slide KO or Sucker Punch KO. However, I did have some luck on my end as well, so good game. Definitely that Heat Wave miss and the Mega Horn miss was huge, and that critical hit on Camerupt, of course, which might have determined the Sucker Punch KO. However, that was an interesting Maw. We did see Rock Slide and Sucker Punch. Haven't seen that since 2014, where Aaron Zhang, who won Philadelphia Regionals this year, actually used Rock Slide over Iron Head on Mawile. which is kind of interesting, but I don't think it's that necessary anymore. Anyway, we're gonna find another battle and see how we do. Okay, some of you have actually asked about my rating, and actually, if we win this next battle, we're in the 1900s, so that would be really nice, unless we find like a 1400 player. As you can see, my record isn't that great. I mean, that's a lot of losses compared to wins, where I'm not really that satisfied, but I will definitely be trying out some more stuff. The reason is sometimes I play with some weird stuff on Battlespot. I like testing new Pokemon, especially ones that people usually never think of. I like to consider all my options, especially with the huge national decks available to us. I do want to try some interesting Pokemon. As you can see, I'm using Cofagrigus on this team, which is an interesting Pokemon, and hopefully we can find a battle soon. Alright, our next opponent of the day will be a 1561, which is kind of low compared to usual, but we're going to see... Wow, this is an interesting team. We see Scrafty, Klefki, Azumarill, Milotic, Dusclops, and Bronzong. So, obviously the things that stand out are Klefki, Dusclops, Bronzong. Even Azumarill kind of stands out in this metagame, because you don't usually see Azumarill. Of course, it did get the Fairy type in 6th Gen, which is really nice. And I do not want to take a belly. I do not want Belly Drum happening. Otherwise, Camerupt does pretty well paired with Gastrodon. I see those two wreck this team pretty well, actually. I'm not even sure if I want to bring my Trick Room mode, because my opponent also has the ability to Trick Room. I really wish I had Knockoff on my S-Cavalier now, because Knockoff would be such a good move against the Dusclops. Kind of walls my team, but as long... Then again, I have Hariyama with Knockoff, so I should be fine, to be honest. I want to lead Gastrodon and Camerupt, since none of his Pokemon are really that fast and threatening, so I feel like I'm safe with that lead. And I think Amoonguss just because I can Spore everything. And I'm wondering if I should bring Cofagrigus in the back. Then again, I'm not even sure if I want to bring Amoonguss. Do I want to bring Cofagrigus and Hariyama? Because those two do actually pretty well. But then again, the two grass types, oh, this is going to make things tough. I think I'm going to leave out Cofagrigus. Yeah. The reason I'm leaving out Cofagrigus is I feel like Hariyama would knock off, and the fact that Dusclops, if he wants to burn me, he's going to give me the Guts ability. It's much more worth it, especially since I don't have a big way to deal with Dusclops. Let's see what my opponent will lead. Because I am going to lead Gastrodon and Camerupt, as it's a pretty safe lead. Versus my opponent's Scrafty and Klefki. Interesting lead. Nonetheless, I'm just going to go for the double Earth Power into the Klefki slot. I'm really not that scared of... Actually, no, I think I'm going to go for the Heat Wave. Yeah. I'm really not scared of Scrafty's damage output. I mean, the ideal turn for my opponent is to fake out one of my Pokemon and go for the Swagger. As long as I knock out the Klefki, he can't Swagger, and it's not like I have any statuses without my Cofagrigus right now. As we see the fake, I probably into Camerupt. Yep, Camerupt. As we see the light screen, interesting, not opting for the Swagger, which I'm actually more okay with, as, let's see how much this Earth Power does. Wow, it's actually able to pick up a KO thanks to a critical hit, which is actually fortunate, but unfortunate at the same time, to be honest, just because now he gets a free switch into whatever he wants, and he gets the light screen up for free. If I didn't get the critical hit, I could have actually made this game more interesting, but Azumarill is actually going to come out here, so I'm just going to double Earth Power into the Azumarill slot. Yeah, I'm not really thinking much about this, but to be honest, the Scrafty isn't much of a threat to my team as the Azumarill is, just because I have Hariyama in the back who can close combat the Scrafty anytime I want, and Scrafty can't do much to a Hariyama. He's going to go for a Drain Punch. I'm going to assume the double attack into the Gastrodon slot, which I'm fine with. Ooh, I barely live, and get the Earth Power off onto the Azumarill, which doesn't do much at all. Wow. Thanks to that light screen, but I would have to assume Assault Vest by the way it's taking these attacks. If that's the case, I kind of don't want that around. At least we know he's not the belly drum set at this rate. I highly doubt it would be. I'm going to switch out Gastrodon into Amoonguss and go for the safe Protect with Camerupt, because I could get a free switch into Amoonguss. He can't do much to Amoonguss unless he has Ice Punch on both his Pokemon. And Camerupt's going to Protect here, which I'm fine with. As we see the Drain Punch into the Gastrodon slot, which Amoonguss does fine and is actually going to get Rocky Helmet damage off. He gets a critical hit, which might matter later, but I'm fine with that now. We see the Aqua Tail into Camerupt. Aqua Tail over Waterfall, that's interesting. As I think I'm going to Spore the... hold on, there's an update on my computer right now. Okay, but I think I'm going to Spore the Azumarill slot and switch out my Camerupt into Gastrodon, because I kind of want to sack off Gastrodon now. It's not really necessary. And I hope this update isn't really affecting. Okay, did we just see a bulk up from Scrafty? Wow. And we see the Play Rough into the Gastrodon slot, which I'm fine with, to be honest. A critical hit nonetheless, but I'm fine with that, as I get a Spore off into the Azumarill slot, which I'm actually really happy to see. So now I can safely bring in my Hariyama and just keep going for close combat onto the Scrafty. Even with the bulk up, I should be doing a lot of damage to it. And Azumarill's guaranteed one turn of sleep, so I'm just gonna Giga Drain the Azumarill and... should I Helping Hand? No, I could Close Combat, Fake Out, or Helping Hand, but I think I'm just gonna go for the Close Combat right now. As we see Scrafty just going for the Drain Punch onto the Hariyama slot, which isn't gonna do much. It's gonna heal back a bit, but I'm fine with that. As Azumarill is gonna take its first turn of guaranteed sleep, I'm gonna get the Close Combat off onto the Scrafty, which is really nice, as it does quite a bit of damage, more than I was expecting. My defenses are going to fall, of course, and it's going to reveal Citrus Berry, which is an interesting item on Scrafty, as I'm going to get a Giga Drain off onto this Azumarill, which takes it really well. I'm impressed. It has to be Assault Vest, but the light screen does wear off, which means my Camerupt can come in pretty much for free. I'm just going to Close Combat the Scrafty and Rage Powder. I'm not risking another sleep turn, because I really don't want to risk that right now. And plus, I get to redirect the Drain Punch from Hariyama, which is really nice. As we see the Drain Punch into the Amoonguss, let's see how much this is going to heal. Of course, Rocky Helmet's going to take effect as well, so it might be in close combat range, it might not be, and I don't think it is in close combat range. Well, it might actually. Azumarill is going to take another turn of sleep, which is excellent. As I get the close combat off onto the Scrafty, which is going to pick up the knockout, I think. That's a knockout, right? Or is it? Please tell me it is. It is, okay. Perfect. As we are going to see my opponent's last Pokemon, which is, Milotic. Okay, Amoonguss pretty much wins this game here. I'm going to Giga Drain, and I don't need Camerupt anymore, so I think I'm going to sack it off. He's probably going to Scald into my Hariyama slot, which I'm fine with, because Camerupt is not necessary against two water types. Maybe Gastrodon would be nice to conserve. As we see the Ice Beam into the Amoonguss, which I'm actually fine with, as long as it doesn't get a freeze. Which it doesn't, and Azuma is going to go for the Play Rough attempt into the Camerupt. Yeah, that's not going to do much. And lower its attack, but I'm actually fine with it, as it doesn't matter. Giga Drain should be able to knock out the Azumarill, since it does not have Light Screen anymore. As I'm going to heal back some HP. Oh wow, it actually survived. This makes things a bit more tricky, but that does confirm my session of Assault Vest. I'm going to withdraw Amoonguss into Hariyama and Protect with my Camerupt. It's pretty much a safe play here, to be honest, as I can take Ice Beams with my Amoonguss. And I get Regenerator Health, which Amoonguss is pretty much the star key for this game right now. Let's see what my opponent goes for. Aqua Jet into Camerupt and the Ice Beam into the Amoonguss slot. So as long as it doesn't freeze, which I'm hoping it doesn't. Which it doesn't, and it procs my Citrus Berry, which is excellent. And right here, I'm fine with letting camera be knocked out. So I'm going to fake out this Azumarill and just go for the Earth Power, no matter who I'm pretty much certain this Azumarill doesn't carry Protect. We've seen Aqua Tail and Play Rough and Aqua Jet, which are moves you usually don't see on Azumarill. Well, the Aqua Tail at least. And Aqua Tail pretty much confirms my assumption of Assault Vest, especially with how much my special moves have been doing to it, even under light screen before. As I do get the fake out onto the Azumarill, which is huge because I get to knock it out. And it's Milotic versus 3 or probably 2 after the Scald. So we just see the Scald onto Hudo. The the Hariyama, which actually gets the burn, which ironically might help since it gave me the guts. As Earth Power does a lot to Milotic, wow. Okay, so I could get fancy here and just go for the Helping Hand Earth Power, expecting to target down the Hariyama, but I just want to go for the safe play in Earth Power. There's no reason for me to make any big moves as long as I win the game. I pretty much guarantee that with Amoonguss in the back. As we see the Scald onto the camera up slot, so good thing I didn't go for the Helping Hand. However, the close combat will KO now, I believe. It is Guts. Maybe he thinks I'm thick fat or something, but I do get the knockout onto the Milotic, and that would be two good games, and that means I actually get into the 1900s now, which is excellent because I was on the 1900s a while ago, but then I dropped after. Well, I got into 1900s with this team. Then I didn't have Mental Herb on Cofagrigus, which pretty much screwed me in most of my games. But then I got the Mental Herb back, and now I rose back to 1900s, which is excellent. Really have been enjoying this team, and we're probably going to see it a few more episodes before I decide to scrap it. Pretty much deciding that each team should get about 7 videos of Spotlight time. And if you guys haven't already, you guys should check me out on my other social medias. Follow me on Twitter for updates about my channel. Be sure to follow me on Twitch for when I'm live streaming, because live streaming is always fun. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for more content and more battles. You guys can check out my blog where I basically describe all the VGC teams I've been using in the past on this series. I just had my Megalophony team from episodes 14 to 18 posted, and I will be posting more teams soon as I get some free time. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this VGC episode. Be sure to hit that like button, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.